We spoke about socially constructed identity when I was talking to you about Taming of the Shrew. And I want to revisit that concept with reference to gender as we start talking about Twelfth Night. Twelfth Night is a play about love and how love makes you do crazy things. And what an idiot you can make of yourself when you fall in love with the wrong person. And one of the wrong couples is Olivia, who falls in love with Viola, while Viola is dressed as a boy. And of course, it's all wrong to fall in love with someone of your gender in Shakespeare's England. Another couple that is wrong is Viola's twin brother Sebastian. He is followed around and spoken to and pleaded with by Antonio. I love you so, I can't let you go. And we're embarrassed because we think, oh, poor Sebastian, he's straight and this gay guy is coming on to him, and that's always very awkward. And so I just want to talk about socially constructed identity with reference to gender to put this in a different context for you. Some people study the history of sexuality and talk about sexuality as socially constructed. And what they mean is our categories like a person who's gay, a person who's bi, a person who's heterosexual. That is something that we consider to be innate. That's something that they were born with, that they can't change. So we think of sexuality as something innate, and that's our framework for that. But Shakespeare's contemporaries had a very different paradigm. They thought of sexual attraction as being appropriate or not appropriate. And you want to be attracted to someone that you can actually get married to, have kids with, live happily ever after with. And if you fall in love with someone who's already married, you know, you might write a beautiful, beautiful sonnet sequence, but it would be very unfortunate for you. You might fall in love with someone who is dressed as an opposite sex person, but is actually the same sex, but that would be folly because you can't actually get married to that person and have babies with them in Shakespeare's England. So in Shakespeare's England, there was, as a matter of this socially constructed gender identity, there were real concerns that if you didn't dress appropriately, if you didn't behave appropriately, you might kind of morph into the other gender. And there actually were publications that purported to tell stories about people who were dressing as boys and climbing over fences the way a boy would and wound up switching genders because they had behaved so inappropriately. This would be kind of a monstrous thing to happen, to have your genitalia reconfigure because of the role you had adopted and the clothes you are wearing. But in Shakespeare's England, this was considered to be something that could happen because with the fluidity of identity, you needed to stick with your culturally conditioned, your socially constructed gender in order to have your life go well. So when you look at Antonio following Sebastian around, trying to give him presents, trying to say, oh yes, but I've got to look after you, I love you, you don't know this town, I do. Think in terms of this is another of the couples in this play that isn't going to work out, just like Viola when she's dressed as a boy and she's in love with Count Orsino. That couple can't work out because there she is dressed as a boy. We'd better be careful or she's going to turn into a boy. Or Olivia when she's in love with the Viola who's dressed as a boy. So Shakespeare is not really making a play about homosocial or homosexual attraction. It's more general than that. He's making a play about love and how love can come to you in a totally inappropriate way and complicate your life, and how it is difficult for any of these individuals to deal with love that's coming at them from the wrong person. So Sebastian has to figure out how to graciously fend off Antonio, just like Viola, when she's dressed like a boy, has to graciously fend off Olivia, etc. So just a different way for you to think about sexuality in this play from the way that we think about it today.